Right, good evening. Hello, everyone. Yes, welcome. Usual show F3 underway in Jeddah for round 8 of this season. Chaos guaranteed practically here, as always, in the Arabian lands. Always a street track, always madness, at least for a few more years until this new Mickey Mouse track comes out. That's basically like Rainbow Road in Mario Kart. So we have 16 drivers on the grid, as F4 is also about to start now, as Remco Smeets is hosting that time first. Thank you, as Sparrow Malpy is unable to step in. So anyway, Nicky Lauda, Mr. Charlie Gordon, currently in P1 with a 1:28.6, as Kieran Allison retiring from the session. Maybe he lost it looks like he lost the car. Callum Morris in P2, Axel Foley currently in P3, Camille in P4, Matej, who's been coached by another Romanian gentleman, Mr. Alex, the Torpedo Theodore in P5. Then, I keep forgetting your name. I think it's Andrei Feshchenko. I think so. It is Andrei. In P6, look who returns to Ero tonight. Mr. Adam Bradshaw. I think he's a qualifying ban as far as I'm aware. Or maybe he doesn't, I can't remember. Mr. Golden Flame. Too busy pulling some Peng paramedics in real life, has graced us with his presence. As Ronaldinho goes fastest with a 1:28.5. And watching Adam go around turn 1 here, tricky, you have to take load of curb. Cut the corner as much as possible. Into the dreaded turn 4. How brave do you want to be there? It's easy to lose the car on the inside of the corner, and then it's easy to invalidate on the outside of the exit. Now through the winding bends here that really will make or break your sector 1, you have to be very, very careful not to invalidate there. And up to the banked swooping hairpin, that is turn 13. Now into sector 2 we go. It's the outside wall there. Not very good there from Adam. Anyway, as the track has just been extended a bit there, now into this lovely swooping part of the track. You have to take a good bit of curb there as well. Now DRS wide open on the run down to turn 22 as you go to turns 18, 19, 20, and here is 21. Into 22 where the mosque will be right in front of you. Has to take a really, really tight line in there. Loads of curb on the exit of the car. Drift out. As apparently there's rain in F4. Well, that's a first, if I've heard of seeing that. Then down to, actually just past turn 26, into turn 27, car into third gear nicely here, tight in the entry, drifting on the exit. And you're going to really keep a nice tight line here to the left to minimise the track. And we're going to be in the 1:28.8 for Adam, and that's good enough for P3 as it stands. Matthew Heaney, who's invalidated his lap. Zuchel on a lap after an impressive F5 until he decided to dive bomb me into turn 22. As he's on the run down to turn 27. Quite a long track here, but like you spend so much of this track in full throttle as well, so the corners really do matter. I love this track. It's a fantastic street track. Probably the best street track that we actually have. Don't at me or complain. No Lex Hod in the stream just yet to complain about something or ask me questions. But anyway, we move on. And Zuchel's good enough for P7 at the moment. Yeast in P10. What are you doing down there? And John Ahern, our newest driver in Ero, will be starting his lap momentarily as the yellow flag, so I can't see how long is left in qualifying. I am hungry. I am proper hungry. As there is just under 10 minutes. There's apparently rain in F4. Is what I'm hearing. Now, I don't know how true that is, but we'll see what happens here. F5 race went very, very quickly by. The whole thing just under an hour, which is very unlike F5. Even with the 2 safety cars. As John is about to start his lap here. Going through turn 27. So a good few DRS zones on this track. 3 in total. You have to be very, very selective of where you do your overtakes here. As we see him take into turn 1 here. Turn 1 is an overtaking zone. You just have to be careful not to outbrake yourself, otherwise you'll either lose the car or just run off the track and get a penalty. Turn 4, traditionally not a braking zone or overtaking zone, but we have seen drivers go side by side there in the past. Then this part of the track, turns 5, 6, 7, and 8. Not really an overtaking zone at all, unless you're suicidal. Up to 13 can be known as a spot to overtake, but yeah, I wouldn't be really advising it. Anyway, watching the car drift out nicely here, keeping as close to the wall as possible just to maximize exit speed into this tricky corner here, which really will, another part of the track that will make or break your lap. You have to be very, very careful there. And you just got to cut the corner as much as possible here. Steal as much of the track as possible without hitting the wall. Speaking of hitting the wall, John does hit the wall. Hits the wall twice there in turn 22. And that's really going to cost him a good bit of time. It's going to cost him about 3/10, I'd say. Max Junior Brzezinski not setting a time just yet, as there's just under 8 minutes to go in qualifying. And we'll see what happens here. And that is not a great lap from John. That bang into 22 really cost him a lot. So the whole field separated by just under 1.5 seconds. Relatively close grid. Not a whole lot separating P1 and 2. And then 3 and 4 are separated by not much either. As Ronaldinho is leading the way here. Let's just have a little look at the championship standings and see who's leading what up to this point in the season. As we are officially 2/3 of the way through our final season on this game, as what was his name? Fat Ronaldo, wasn't it? Because he's Ronaldinho. Fat Ronaldo going P1, and then Callum Morris going even faster into the 1:28.2s. Interesting. I can't believe it's raining in F4. That'd be hilarious to watch. There's talks of rain. Is it actually raining in F4? As Ronaldinho is going even faster now. He's set a purple sector 2 here. Just over 6 minutes left in this qualifying session. The top 3, the top 4, not a whole lot in it. As here comes Ronaldinho around turn 27. And this is going to be quick. He's just going to burn that battery. Look at that. And it's going to be even quicker now by 0.005 of a second. So these two have been battling all season long. Zuchal, I would never laugh at you. Yeah, it's raining in qualifying. Just under 5 minutes to go, and wow, not a whole lot separating the grid here. Adam Bradshaw into the pits. He's going to change his tires and come out for one last stint. So, a variety of strategies possible here. Medium hard, medium soft, which I actually did, but that was because of the safety cars. I was able to do it. Probably not the optimum strategy, the medium to soft, but yeah, I think if I had pitted under the safety car, the second safety car, and just went to hards, it probably would have won me the race. But anyway, it is what it is. We move as Matej on a lap I believe. No, he's on a... Well, he is on a lap. Well, he's just finished a lap and he's gone P6. Yeast just decided to cannonball into the bits. Currently sitting in P7. And not a whole else happening just yet, as this is the calm before the storm. As Chris Pratt is apparently here. Three minutes to go in qualifying. Honestly, it's anyone's guess who's going to start out in the front two rows here. You've realistically got 5 drivers vying for 4 spots, in my opinion. Maybe Matei if he does something magical. So, 2 minutes to go. Everyone coming out now. Ooh, as we see a Haas just pull out. John Ahern really just pulls out in front of this pack. Wow, that was a questionable pit release. Currently, in the standings, after last week's Silverstone Bonanza, Callum Morris is leading by 10 points over Kamil Pliszczyk. So Ronaldinho is going to need a good result here. Charlie Gordon then is in P3, Brzezinski in P4, Bastian's in P5. And Callum's won 3 races so far, so he's been pretty dominant. And then everybody else has won 1. But here we go. So it's going to be... Oh, wow. Callum's already on his lap. What are we saying? And into turn 4, he's gone. Let's have a little look here and see how we end up. And he has the hot lap mode well and 30 on as he's going through the chicanes at the end of sector 1's turn 7, 8 and 9. Up to turn 13 now he goes. He sets a purple sector 1 just by 31 thousandths of a second, 31 milliseconds here. Now going through these sweeping here, right and left-handers. Oh, he loses a bit of the car there, and that's going to cost him a bit of time. But it seems to be relatively okay. He's going to have DRS wide open in just a jiffy as there's a yellow flag in sector 3, 40 seconds to go in qualifying. As everyone started their final lap, and he's not actually improved. He's lost a tiny bit of time going through turn 22 there. Oh, lovely, lovely stuff, kissing the walls. Kamil retires, losing the car somewhere. Or he's retired, lost it into turn 1. Yeast is retired, whatever. Anyway, going through the final corner, what is it going to be for our championship leader? As we're seeing all sorts here at the moment. What the... And Callum does indeed go fastest by quite some time in the end. What is Brzezinski doing? And now it's up to this man, Kamil Pliszczyk, Ronaldinho. Sidekick Fat Ronaldo in P3 at the moment. He's got a couple of tenths to find if he wants to challenge for pole position. It's all down to him. There's a pack in front of him, including the likes of John Ahern and Andrei Feschenko. But Andrei's invalidated, unfortunately for him. Matthew Heaney's also retired from the session. So first it's going to be John as a Nicky Lauda, Charlie Gordon going P4. But we're just going to go back here to John as he's on the run down to turn 27. This is it. If you want to make an impact on your debut, now is the time to do it. Drifts through the corner ever so slightly there. Doesn't really hit the apex. Taking a nice tight line now to the line. It's going to be in the 28. It's not going to be pole for John. It's going to be P3. Where is it for Ronaldinho? Is it going to be pole? He is indeed. By nearly over a tenth of a second. Left it to the very end there. And that's going to shatter Callum Morris's dreams. It's going to be pole position for the Polishman. And we have 25 laps up and coming as Zuchal decides to just do a Mick Schumacher and bury the car, or Orlando Norris. Just take your pick. And that is going to be qualifying. Chris Pratt did not join the lobby in time. Oh, what a finish that was there. As Adam Bradshaw actually goes P3 while I was looking at my phone. Interesting. Wow, what a finish. So, Ronaldinho on P1, Callum Morris on P2, Adam Bradshaw on P3, John O'Hearn in P4. There are your front two rows. Then Fat Ronaldo in P5, Charlie Gordon in P6, Axel Foley in P7, Matei in P8, Yeast and Zucho rounded the top 10. Then Matthew Heaney, Camel and Andre are the drivers that set a time. Then Kieran, Callum and Max all did not set a time. Very, very close stuff. We are about to get underway. As John says, all his wheel lost all force feedback. So we're about to start now in F3. Turn 1 is usually quite chaotic here. There was a safety car within the first sector in F5. And we are about to get underway now. This is going to be chaotic. I can just feel it in my bones already. 25 laps, F3, round 8. As Camel gets a drive-through penalty for the start. And then Callum Morris is not going to challenge Camel into turn 1. Everyone else behind, as there's a dive by the Williams in the background. Adam Bradshaw up to P3, Fat Ronaldo into P4, John O'Hearn now up to P4. Mateus is dropping positions left, right and centre. Everyone seems to get away quite nicely so far. I can't believe Camel's got a jump start drive-through penalty. As there's already chaos into turn 4, and Mateus is gone. Fat Ronaldo is gone. That's only a VSC. Oh my. Poor Fat Ronaldo. As Zuchal and John here having some problems with the VSC, and that's really going to hold the whole pack up behind them. So that was a bit of a chaotic start. Golden Flame into P3. As Kieran Allison up 5 positions on that start. Matei up 3, Zuchal up 4. And you have the rainbow of dry compound tires on display here. You've got Ronaldinho and Callum both on the mediums, then Gold on the hards, then Charlie on the and Matei on the mediums as we're back in racing. Poor Matei. And Zuchol and John are fighting on track. Zuchol, this is where he spun out against me as he goes a bit wide. That's going to be his first track limit warning in lap 1 through turn 22, as there's a yellow flag in sector 3 as well, but we can't see what it's for. Chris Pat and the Ferrari for some reason. Matthew Heaney and Callum getting past Kieran down to turn 27 as these two will go side by side. Bit of a wide line there as Ronaldinho naturally sets the fastest lap of the race, and these two are going to be drag racing down to turn 1. Callum and Matthew, as this is a different Matthew than Mr. Matthew Ronkston, who left the server last night. Matthew was doxing himself in the server and, well, yeah, the usual shit. Camel serving his drive through, Kieran changing his wing, and these two up the front are going to be battling all evening long by the looks of it, as we're into lap 2 of 25. Adam Bradshaw just dropping off the pace on those hard tyres. They're not on the right window just yet. Interesting strategy to start on the hards in Jeddah, as there will probably be a safety car here. I don't think there's ever been a race in Jeddah without a safety car in ERO. There's definitely not been a race in real life without a safety car. So, interesting. Adam predicting the safety car will start a little bit longer as Charlie Gordon has a bit of a wobble there in big corner. Matei. I'd like to see Matei get a podium. Don't ask me why. I know he has his haters in Euro. I don't think he's a bad kid. I think he's just a bit misunderstood. As speaking of Matei, he sits a purple sector too. And Zuchol is hot on his tail here. But further up the lead, there's going to be a move for the lead between Callum and Ronaldinho. And they're going to go side by side through the final corner. And Callum is going to go into P1. However, was it all games, as Ronaldinho is going to have DRS here, and he's going to go on the outside to get the move done well before the braking zone. Zuchol with the fastest lap now. He is on those soft compound tires, and all this does is help Gold. This is another yellow flag in sector 1, as it looks to be a Sauber who's gone off. That's John Ahern, and he's dropped down to P14. A poor start to him so far in ERO, as Fat Ronaldo has sent the footage, as Golden Flames got a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Zuchol's got the 3-second time penalty for track limits. As we see in the background, Matei and Charlie fighting going into turn 13. Matthew Heaney is the next driver to fall victim of the track limit penalties curse thingy my bobby. Anyway, drifting through corners here, that's a difficult one. That's turn 16 and 17. That little complex is quite complicated. And three drivers very close to each other right now. Ronaldinho 3/10 of a second ahead of Callum, but he's going to have two helpings of DRS. The first one's just about ending, and Callum's got loads of battery for days, and he's just going to be happily towed along here by Camille. I can't believe Camille got a bloody jump start. And here comes Callum. He's going to think about a move. He doesn't. Kieran Allison, though, he's gone, and that leads to a safety car, a full-on safety car now. So the interesting question is does anyone pit? And we have Callum, or we have Matei as a start here into turn 4. Wow. He did exactly what Yeast would predict someone would do, which is lose the car into turn 4. He did it wrongson. He did it wrongson. As Matthew Heaney's been disqualified for some reason. What's happened to him? Well, that's a first. Another masterclass from EA Sports. I think Matthew Heaney's been very unlucky this season, from what I remember. He's had a few times where he's been leading a race or he's been fighting up the front and just crashed or gotten involved in some kerfuffles. But anyway, we move on here as there's been 4 laps and 2 double yellow flag incidents. 1 VSC, 1 safety car. I just don't know what to tell you. As we do see the top 2 into the pits. Adam Bradshaw into the pits. What's he doing? Has he started the wrong tyres? So everyone is pitting now. Everyone is pitting. Zuchal into the pits as well. The only person who doesn't pit is Axel Foley. So you'd have to think Camille and Callum are... As the race just kind of calms down now and everyone just kind of catches up with the safety car. And some drivers' pit strategies are already complete. I'm just wondering, what is Adam and Zuchal, what are they going to do here? Because they're on the mediums. Those mediums... Can they go 20 laps? Like, well, probably technically 19 laps with the with another lap of safety car? That's the question here. I think there's going to have to be a bit of tyre whispering going on here, because definitely the hards can go to the end, that's no question. Yeast also on a fresh set of mediums. But this brings John and Camo right back into this race here. Callum as well, Brzezinski in P7. Currently, so lots happening as usual in F3. Where we've had what the hell just happened to Axel Foley? Well, he's just after being disqualified as well. As the safety car is in this lap, and Camo will get us underway. As Axel's asking for a restart, there's not going to be one, unfortunately, but I don't know, that's a very strange one there. As Camel just weaving, yeah, you can see this nice little ignored yellow flag, so you got a disqualification for that. Oh, fuck. Right, anyway, Camel's back racing, and Callum is right behind him. No overtake into turn 1 here, but further down the field, we do see a Ferrari and a Haas battling along here as Zuchal's making overtakes, Andre's making overtakes, and Chris Pratt is just driving through ghosted people as usual. Can someone please report this nonsense? And Brzezinski just dropping positions as a result of that. Zuchal up to P7, Andre up to P6, Matej up to P5. Just don't get a penalty, Matej. Just don't get a penalty. That's all I ask from you. Okay? If you can avoid getting a penalty, you'll cook. That's all the guy has to do. Bashi wants ERS. Alright. Good evening, Zeman. Thank you very much for doing F4. Very much, or F5. Very much appreciated. Yeast and Brzezinski, old rivals, fighting along here. Is Camel also fighting with Maximilian? John Ahern just slightly behind as of now. Bashi thinks medium to the end as we see Camel go off there in turn 22. The rejoin was okay, but it could have led to absolute chaos. And further up the field, Gold is overtaking Callum on those medium tyres. And he is now chasing down Ronaldinho. Charlie Gordon also in pursuit. It's all happening. DRS enabled now. And again, everyone, the back seems to be right awful right scrap. It's all Golden Flame up to P1. We're going to miss that. Sorry, guys. As we do join this little battle here between these back four, Yeast and the two Hasses, and Zuchol and Chris Pratt fighting side by side into turn 4. This is going to end in tears. We predicted tears, and tears did indeed happen. Anyway, going back up the front here, Callum right on the heels of Mr. Ronaldinho into turn 13, as around that hairpin they go. Banked hairpin at the very top of the track, or the tip of the track, should we say. Into 16 and 17 now, I think it is. You have to take a bit of curve there. Just be careful not to unsettle the car, as DRS is going to be wide open for both of these drivers now. Adam Bradshaw's going to have a bit of defending to do. He's going to want to pull away on those faster tyres while he can. And Callum sets a purple sector 2 there. It's a bit of a slow turn 22. And just like that, he's gaining again though. Ronaldinho not putting up much of a fight. Both of them using a lot of battery. Gold also using a lot of battery. So these guys trying to sprint their way here at the moment. Charlie Gordon struggling to keep up. He's going to drop out of ERS very soon if he's not careful. Matei also within DRS. Go on, Matei. Representing the Torpedo Nation. And we're going to see a move here for the lead as Ronaldinho and Adam Bradshaw are going to go side by side into turn 1. To be careful here not to touch anybody here. Callum does very well to do so. Clear, very clean, as Andrei Feschenko is retired in the pits. Yeast is with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Adam Bradshaw goes wide there into the exit at turn 4. And everyone surviving that initial skirmish around sector 1. And look at that exit by Callum. He's going to rocket here into turn 13. Not going to be able to make a move. Going to take a wider line, trying to get a better exit. And he does indeed get a better exit. Has he got enough to track, though, to overtake Adam into the next, before the next turn? He doesn't, though. And Ronaldinho is going to be overtaken by 2 drivers here if they both get a decent exit. Well, definitely by 1. Callum hasn't had the best of exits there, but here comes Adam Bradshaw yet again, powering through into turn 22. Doesn't have enough track. He's not using any battery. He's holding off for now. And Callum Morris right behind us. Charlie Gordon is rapidly closing down on these drivers. He was 8 tenths away, now he's 2 tenths away. Callum Morris on the outside. Adam Bradshaw has to take a defensive line here. And now we got DRS down the main straight for these 4. We're all very, very close to one another. Matei is also closing in as well. Callum's going to make a move here. Adam's going to make a move. Down the inside into turn 1. This is great racing from these 3. It has to be said here. Ronaldinho back down to P2. Golden Flame up to P1 yet again into turn 4. No one dying here. I think there's a bit of contact with the wall there. Was that a bit wide for Campbell? Will he get a track limit warning for that? And all Charlie Gordon can do is just watch this with the best seat in the house, really. And Matei is right behind him. They're waiting to capitalise on any mistakes. Matei is quietly having a good race. Zuchol with another 3-second time penalty for track limits. That's not the most intelligent thing to do here in this track. We're at the end of the race. The pack will be close, probably because of a safety car. As you can just see the leaders here just ahead of Matei. The top 5 all very, very close, separated by less than a second nearly, just under a second and a half. And here comes Matei. Is he going to try and make a move on Mr. Gordon in the Aston Martin? He's not going to be able to. He's keeping his battery though. Takes a bit of a wide line there. Could have been a bit tighter there into turn 22. Is anyone going to make a move in the top 5? Look at this. This is fantastic racing from this lot. Further down the field, Yeast, Campbell and John are all very close to one another. And Brzezinski is right on the back of Zuchol as well, as we head down on a drag race down to turn 1 yet again. And the Williams of Callum Morris is pulling out here to make a move on 2 drivers into turn 1. Is he going to be able to hold it? No, he's not. Adam Bradshaw is going to take the position back. Does Ronaldinho get a better exit out of turn 2? He does not. Into turn 4, Callum Morris up to P2. Ronaldinho down to P3. Almost hits the wall in turn 4 there. And this is an absolutely enthralling race here for round 8 in F3. There's a yellow flag as Yeast is gone. Where is he gone though? It looks like he's not gone in the pits. As Matei gets a 3-second time penalty. Yeast into turn 4 has lost the car. How is that not a safety car? Yeast lost it exactly where Fat Ronaldo did, as Callum Ogden into the pits. I think he's to change his wing. Golden Flame is going to be crying to the stewards here, asking for a safety car there. I think if you're Brendan Gashi, you're going to be asking for one, as he is whatchamacalliting Adam this evening. He's engineering Adam. Anyway, into turn 22, the top 5. I'm disappointed for Matei getting a 3-second there. It's, I was expecting better from him. And everyone just keeping their battery at the moment. But are we going to see another move here between the top 4? As you see the Red Bull of Ronaldinho taking a slightly aggressive line into turn 27. Now, down the main straight we go. As the top 2 are going to be fighting yet again here. Adam just can't fight that with Callum. DRS is just too powerful. Didn't even use much battery either, to be honest. And just like that, Callum Morris, our championship leader in F3, back up to P1. Bashi calling for a safety car in the comments, as Gold is another 3-second time penalty. It looked like Callum went a bit wide there as well. I think he might have gotten a track limit warning. He's going to have to be very careful. At the end of the day, whoever gets the least amount of penalties here is really, really in a shout for a podium. And if you're Charlie Gordon, you're currently sitting in net P3. So now at the moment, it's a 2-horse battle for the win between Callum and Camille. These two guys have been fighting all season long. Callum currently getting the best of Ronaldinho. He's 10 points clear in the championship. That could change easy this evening if it was a DNF. As Yeast has left the session, poor Macaulay. Goated Ero legend. Interesting guy. He's quite funny too, to be fair to him. As these guys go through turn 22 here. As Matei trying to keep up with this pack. He's not doing too bad of a job. Just holding on here now as Callum Ogden with a 3-second time penalty for track limit warnings. That's our 5th driver remaining. Sorry, there's a few other drivers who have penalties of DNF. Further down the field, John Ahern overtaking Camille on the run down to 27. Zucho with DRS. And as a move for the lead, well before the braking zone, Adam Bradshaw back up to P1, and these guys are just inverting positions. The only problem Gold has now, though, is that those mediums are going to start to die off pretty soon. As he really heavy on the brakes there into turn 4. Ronaldinho is just staying nicely behind, not pushing his luck, just kind of keeping along. Charlie Gordon very close to the back of Ronaldinho as well. No one making a move in this part of the track. It would be folly to do so. With the traction control really working overtime there in turn 13. As Charlie is a bit of a wobble there as well. Maybe the hards are degrading a bit quicker for him than expected. Further back up the field, Callum Morris going to have DRS here. Not in the right part to overtake though, as he is rapidly closing in on Gold. Almost makes contact with the back of Adam's car. Into turn 22. Everything though clean as a whistle up the top between these 5 drivers. Zuchol very close to the back of Brzezinski. Brzezinski is coming, boys. He is on the charge. Currently sitting in a net P5. As John Ahern and Camille fighting further down the field. And back up the top here, you're going to see, we might see a double move here as Gold drops down to P3. As he dropped down to P3 just here, they go side by side into turn 1 and into turn 2. There's a bit of contact, but it's all relatively clean. Nothing overly aggressive there. Ronaldinho stays in P3. Camille and John are fighting further down the field yet again. And Charlie Gordon still staying in P4, and Matei is right behind him. He's getting frustrated at this point. He's wanting to get past. And Callum is just broken free of Adam there, it looks like. Callum just had a much better sector 1, and I think those mediums are starting to degrade. As Zuchal says, I want more time penalties. I want more 3 seconds. That's his 3rd one of the day. And you see it here, the top 5 separated by less than 2 seconds. And from P2 to P5 is separated by less than a second. Adam Bradshaw really needs to get his thumb out if he wants to have any chance of getting a decent finish here. And just looking at the penalties, he's got 6 seconds. Matei's got 3. Zuchol's got 9. Oh my god. Camille's got 3 and Callum has 3. As we're just over half race distance. And very hard to predict a winner here. You have to say Callum Morris would be your favourite at the moment, but it's anybody's game as these two have been fighting for all of the race, John and Camille. And here comes Gold. Not close enough to make a move though, but he has gained a lot of time there. So Callum has a bit of a wobble in the middle of the turn. And Adam really close to the back of Callum here, but there's not a whole lot he can do, unfortunately. Just going to have to stay behind and put loads of pressure on the Williams in front of him. That's exactly what Ronaldinho and Charlie are doing. You really got to trust the driver in front of you to not do anything erratic here, or not to have a moment in a difficult part of the track. Otherwise, you're going to lose a wing. There's a lot to be said here for trusting your colleagues on the track. And the hards definitely quicker now than the mediums. As you can see it here, as Ronaldinho is going to start to be held up by Adam. Just like that, I'm assuming Ronaldinho is going to get the overtake done here relatively soon. Matei not gaining, but here comes Ronaldinho. And this is all just nicely playing into Callum's hands here. As Adam will act as the cork in the bottle to hold up the drivers behind. Yeast wants to say there's other battles in the top 5. There is, but, you know, well, there actually isn't, to be honest. Yes, Zuchal and Brzezinski have been fighting. John O'Hearns and Camel have been fighting all race long. But the main battle is up the top. No one will be making a move, though, this lap. Matei, quite some far away about. He must have had a bad lap, and he's had a lot of drift there. Further down the field, just to keep Yeast happy. Zuchal on the back of the Haas, who hasn't really gained all that much as we thought he was. He is gaining ever so slightly. Now the interesting thing here is when he gets in, when he gets into DRS, within DRS range of Matei, is he going to make a big push to the drivers ahead? That is the question. Matei with tons of battery. Everyone in the top 5 with tons of battery to spare. Chris Pratt riding in P10. We've lost 6 drivers so far this evening, as we are in lap 15 of 25. And now Callum just seeming to lose that you know, 3/4 of a second advantage that he's had. He's lost about half a second of that now. DRS really killing him here. And now if you're Adam Bradshaw, I think you have to start considering to stay out on these mediums till the end. It's not going to be pretty, but I think that's what he's going to have to consider doing. As Callum makes contact with the wall, that's going to compromise him big time now, especially with the DRS. And Adam's going to get this move done well before the braking zone. Maybe even Camel will get a move done on him, because Camel has to think about it. And Gold like that, up to P1 again. Callum and Ronaldinho are going to have to play Tom in this game of Tom and Jerry, cat and mouse. Into turn 4 they go there. As Ronaldinho, speaking of the devil, we literally caught it on stream with a 3-second time penalty. And that's really going to derail his chances of winning here this evening. He's going to have to do something special now to get the win. And that puts Charlie Gordon up to a net P2. Just like that. Callum really close to the back of Adam. And it's all happening now at the moment. I'm just keeping it going nicely here. No one really being too ambitious or too brave. However, the Polish man himself, Brzezinski, the Polish bullet, has gained over a second on Matei, and he will be within DRS range within the next lap or two. And is he going to make a late push here Currently, as things stand, he's like P3. And Callum overtaking Adam before turn 20. Whoa! Oh, there's a lot of contact there. What has happened there? Ronaldinho and Gold having... I don't know what happened there. That puts Matei up to P3. Adam into the pits. I think he's going to have bad wing damage on that. His Gold at the 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pits. That's his day done. What happened there now into turn 27? It was just right before the turn. Matei and Callum going side by side. Charlie Gordon's up to P1. It's all happening now on track. From what seemed to be such a consistent and clean top 5, it's just turned into absolute chaos. Brzezinski is right in the neck of it now. He's a net P3 if he stays out of trouble. Matei making his own track limits now at the end of Sector 1. And we have a new top 5 now from what was that existing one. And there's going to be a bit more chaos towards the end of this race as we enter into the final third. Never boring in F3, I'll tell you that much. That's disappointing for Adam Bradshaw. He was having a great race up to that point. Yes, he had a few penalties, but was definitely pushing along quite nicely. Anyway, further back up the field, it's Charlie v Callum. Into turn 22, the mosque right in front of them. Nothing changing just there. It looks like Callum has had a slightly better exit than Charlie, and he's going to be gaining with DRS, but he's not going to make a move into turn 27 because Charlie would just overtake him straight away. But he is going to go on the outside line here. He's going to try and get a nicer exit. They go side by side through turn 27 here. Callum going to get the overtake done. Is he going to have DRS beforehand? No, he's not, and this is going to leave him a bit of a sitting duck to Charlie. Well, Charlie's not fighting it though, is he? No, he's electing to stay behind here. Matei and Charlie, they're going side by side. And Camel also getting involved here. And that just gives Callum that little bit of breathing room that he needs. Oh, as Matei goes a mile off the track there in the exit, turn 4, midway through turn 5. And Brzezinski really, he's like a predator. He's like Randy Orton here, just hunting down his prey. As Ronaldinho goes wide. And that puts Max up to P4. Zuchal with another 3-second time penalty. Jeddah, a very unforgiving track here. It's easy just to fall down or slip into a pattern of just getting endless amounts of penalties here. John O'Hearn has just drifted off the pace here of the drivers in front of him. Same with Camel. It's not been the best of day for him. Our goated standings editor Chris Patch just had a nightmare, but that's Chris Patch. What happens? He joined the lobby late, 15 minutes late. So Callum Morris still leading the way here. Charlie Gordon is thinking about spoiling this party. Battery-wise, Charlie with a lot less than Callum, but he does have DRS here. And he's going to be very, very close to the back of the Englishman's car. Is he going to try and make a move into turn 1 here as we enter into lap 19 of 25? Brzezinski up to P3. He's going to have DRS. Matei's right behind him as well, though. But here comes the torpedo number 2. Further up the field, Callum and Charlie swapping positions. Max and Matei going to go side by side, but Max is going to keep the position here. And Ronaldinho has just dropped off all the pace altogether. He was having such a great race up to this point. And now he's nearly 2 seconds behind Matei. Matei's having a great little race here, though. On for a P4 as it stands. And Charlie Gordon leading the way here. So all the overtaking happening into turn 1. Kind of like Monaco in that aspect where you just got to wait behind until you get to the one overtaking spot on the track, which is probably turn 1 of the DRS zone. Unless you're nuts and you go into the swimming pool section or something like that. But anyway. Right, the tunnel. We won't talk about Monaco though, we're not racing it this season. Horrible track. Anyway, Callum rapidly approaching with DRS into turn 22. Doesn't make the move naturally enough because he's smart. Great exit out at 22 there, and he's gaining already. He's gaining on Charlie here, and he's going to make the move before the braking zone. However, this just compromises him yet again because Charlie's going to have DRS now down the main straight. Either position's going to be inverted yet again. Max not really gaining there at all. I don't think Charlie's got enough track though. I think he's too far behind. not using the DRS to recharge his battery. And Callum with tons of battery to spare. Brzezinski closing in here. And Matej as well as they go through turn 4. So no one driver able to pull away in this race. Unlike stuff we've seen in the past. And everyone just kind of keep settling in nicely here, bedding in nicely as Brzezinski very, very close to the back of Charlie Gordon. And he's going to have DRS as well. Does he have he's had a bit of exit too, you know. And he's using a bit of battery. Is he going to throw this in turn 22? He elects not to. Backs out of it. Thinks otherwise. But makes contact with the back of Charlie's car. That's going to cost both drivers some time here. And you can just see Callum pulling away from Charlie ever so slightly. And here comes Brzezinski into turn 27. Not even near the braking zone. He's up to P2. It's game on now. Poland v England. 5 laps to go as we enter into lap 21 of 25 in F3. And Max with the fastest lap in the 131s. And he's going to go straight up to P1 now. Just like that. Max is starting at the back of the field. Up to P1. It's a Haas sandwich with Mick in P1 and Callum in P2. Or P10, should I say. Further down the field, nobody else seems to be really close to one another. Zuchel and John Ahern, who were fighting earlier on, have kind of dropped off each other's pace. Camel in a world of his own, Chris Pratt in a world of his own. Callum in a lap of his own. And the main battle really is up between the top 3. Matej also involved, but he's going to have to settle for P4 at this rate unless one of these drivers DNFs. And speaking of Matej, he's after hitting a wall there too. Charlie Gordon, though, keeping nicely along here. And here you see Callum Morris closing in on Max. He's got tons of battery. Doesn't make the move into turn 22. And here comes Callum yet again. With DRS, we've seen him overtake here a few times into turn 27. He's going to go on the inside. Side by side we go. Who's going to have DRS from that now? That's another interesting question. As Callum on the outside there, he's going to have the position. Max is going to have the DRS. But it just seems that outside line is that much quicker than an inside line. As Charlie Gordon now challenging Brzezinski. And Charlie, is he going to keep the position? Is Matej going to keep the position? There's a bit of carbon fibre on the track. Thankfully nobody gets a puncture from that. And just like that, Max down into P3. And almost colliding with the wall into turn 4 there. We've seen 2 victims of the turn 4 wall this evening. Ronaldinho having such a great race at the start. He's really dropped off the pace now. It's going to really hurt his championship aspirations. John Ahern sitting in P7, but that could be a net P6 or even a net P5 depending on penalties. So it's just a question of who finishes this race at this point here, as we've just got a couple of laps to go. And Charlie's really burnt all of his battery. Yeah, all the drivers starting to use it up here. Mick or Max with the majority of the battery left, or the person with the most battery left, should I say. As they're speeding along here down the run down to turn 27 with DRS wide open for everybody. Charlie, though, just a bit away here. He's got no battery left at all. He's just going to have to charge this here. Kind of hope Callum makes a mistake. Meanwhile, Chris Pratt and Camel are fighting in turn 22. And John Ahern has finally gotten back within the DRS of Zuchel. Zuchel's been on his mediums for 17 laps. Callum on a fresh set of mediums. Maybe he wants to steal fastest lap. Why isn't he going to the softs? Interestingly enough, that's a strange one. It's just a handful of laps now as we're into Sector 1 for one of the last few times this evening. Callum leading the way. It's been a turbulent race as Chris Pack gets a 3-second time penalty. It's been a turbulent race up to this point, with the lead changing so many times. There's been hundreds of overtakes this evening. There probably has been over 100 overtakes this evening. And Brzezinski's just charging that battery up for one last attack, I think, at the end in the last lap here. And every other driver, if they're going to be having any sense here, they'll be doing the same. Callum is charging that battery up. Max is going to want to get past Charlie here before the last lap, so we have a run at Callum one last time. As you see a lovely camera angle here. You see some neon tents on the background. Now, through turn 27 we go, as we're going to enter into the penultimate lap here. Callum Morris will lead us along the way. John Ahern overtaking Zuchov for P6 on the track. He's going to make a charge now for P5. Nobody swapping positions here in the top four as we enter into the penultimate lap, as we've just said. As Callum with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. You can see him just ahead of Ronaldinho, who's been lapped by the top four. Matei having a stellar race minus the time penalty. And Charlie Gordon just keeping along here with Callum Morris. All of them on these old hard tyres. They're going to be slipping and sliding, and now is not the time to be brave, as Callum gets another 3-second time penalty for just cutting a corner blatantly, apparently now. And here it comes, Mr. Morris. He's led most of this race. He's been very convincing up the front. He was pipped to pole by Ronaldinho. Kamil Blizhikinski with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. And I don't think Max is going to have enough in the tank here to overtake the two drivers ahead of him, unless something special happens here. He's got a lot of battery spare. Charlie saved up. However, Callum doesn't have a lot of battery left as we're going to enter into the final lap now, and expect everyone to just unload all of the energy they have. Here we go, and you can see it now. Max not wasting time. He's already using into the final lap. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. A one-lap shootout. Not even a second separating the top three. Nothing happening just yet. And it's anyone's guess. Any one of these three drivers could win here. As Max is a bit of a wobble in the exit of turn 3. But he's recovered that nicely. Everyone very, very closely bunched up to each other. Matej right in the back of Brzezinski as well. At the end of Sector 1, no changes as... Oh, Charlie goes wide there. Almost gets a penalty, I think, if he's gotten a few strikes. Callum with another 3-second time penalty just for good measure. Now Max right on the back of the Englishman here as we're into Sector 2, and it now is the time to be a hero. If you want to win this race, Callum Morris really in the driver's seat here. He's in a firm position. He's got loads of battery left, has a relatively good turn 14 and 15 or whatever it is. And here comes Max. Is he going to be using? Not yet. Here comes Matej. Is he going to try and overtake somebody? As Callum gets another 3-second time penalty. What is he at? And Max is gaining though. This is going to be a photo finish between these three. Everyone using... Callum's used a bit too much battery though, I think, at this point. And Charlie Gordon's going to have the advantage as we go around to find the corner. And here comes Brzezinski as well. It's going to be a drag race to the line between these top three. Brzezinski's up to P2. He's gaining. He's gaining. Is he going to get the win? He is. Max Jr. Brzezinski pips Callum Morris at the line. Charlie Gordon has to settle for P3 and less than a tenth of a second separating the top three. Matej will come in fourth. John Ahern will come in fifth. Ronaldinho, who was leading this race at one point, started on pole, finishing P6. Chris Pat, whatever. Zuchol in P8. Kamil in P9. And Callum Ogden finishing off the Haas sandwich. Wow. race. Great stuff from the top 5. The top 6 drivers there have been were exceptional all race long. Who says Jeddah doesn't produce good sim racing? And that is it before any stewards findings. So Max Jr. Brzezinski started P16, will finish at the top step in P1. Callum Morris in P2, Charlie Gordon in P3, Matei in P4, John Ahern in P5. That's a good result for his debut. Ronaldinho in P6. So the top 6 all had a very, very solid race there. Also has to shout out to Adam Bradshaw. He was quite decent until he retired. Chris Pat in P7, Zuchal in P8, Camel in P9, and Callum Ogden rounding out the finishers. Gold, Macaulay, Andre, Kieran, Mateus, Axel, and Matthew all did not finish. Axel and Matthew getting unfair, unjust disqualifications, one could say. F2 is tomorrow evening. Maybe I'll commentate it, maybe I'll race, I don't know. But we will see what happens. If we don't see you tomorrow, have a lovely weekend, everybody. Thank you very, very much, and good night.